And hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of General Geekery. This is episode number, we stopped keeping track of episode numbers probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Father's Day. JD is a father of two wonderful children, and I have three dogs. So my mom got me a dog father coffee cup for Father's Day, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
And with us today, of course, with me as always is my host, JD,
Hello.
and our very special guest, a return guest who we're always happy to have on the show, Sithfire 30, Dayton Allen.
Who's no longer on Instagram, tragically.
Oh, no, that's changed. He's back on Instagram. You're not keeping up on trends.
Okay, last I saw, his Instagram was gone. So
yeah, it was a pain in the ass,
So what happened there? I mean, did they shut you down? Did you get locked out? I mean, what happened?
Back on April Alien Day. It was Alien Day. Is April 26th, around midnight, close to midnight. I get a alert that my Instagram was being disabled for some reason, and it's sort of my screen sort of on my smartphone sort of blinked on and off, went a little crazy, and it said my account's disabled. So I waited for 24 hours because the thing told me to wait 24 hours for a review. And then I jumped on and I was still disabled. So I went through, rattled my brain and got on Google to find out what the heck was going on, and was able to find enough links to where I could contact certain humans to let me back on, right? And finally, I got back on, and it said, "Oh, this was by mistake."
Okay.
I said, "All right, there's a lot of guys that it may be something that didn't settle well with the bot, whatever it was working, the AI at the time, and I pissed it off, and they disabled me. Okay, I'll let it go." And then the next time I made an entry, it did it again, and knocked me off. This was literally the next entry I made. So at that point, I said, okay, there's something wrong here. It's not, I'm not violating anybody's guidelines. It's something wrong with the AI. It doesn't like me. So I uninstalled Instagram. After it knocked me out the second time, I uninstalled Instagram, reinstalled it, thinking that might be something on my phone that's causing the offense, I guess you could call it. And that didn't take. So I had to do it again, contact the human and get me back on. And it got me back on. So it was a mistake.
Okay.
Third time, did it again, went to the same spiel. It was a mistake. Got me back on. And then I tried to email some people through Twitter. I said, listen, I'm having this problem. I'm afraid to enter any updates or any posts because I'm going to get kicked off again. Got no answer from anybody. Now I had almost 4,000 followers, and let's be honest, I don't think about numbers anymore because those 4,000 followers, probably only about 100 of them actively pay attention to your posts and stuff.
Yeah.
The rest of them have all went through and said, "Oh, that's cool," friend it, and moved on.
Right.
So it wasn't really that idea, but it's the work that I put into posting and talking and getting connections all over the years.
Yes,
I really starting to get pissed off because no one was contacting me. And finally, I went ahead and posted one more time, and it kicked me off. And then this time, I thought, well, I'll just keep jumping on until whenever, and I'll keep complaining about it. This time, I couldn't. Every avenue I went to that I did before that worked told me that this account did not exist.
Wow.
And an email did not exist. My phone number for the account did not exist. And it asked me, "Do you wish to open a new account?" And so I contacted again through Twitter and a couple of emails and said, "Listen, can you guys do anything? I'll wait. And so I waited about 48 hours for any humans over there's got to be some humans that work there, right? And I went through the proper channels of where they have to be, and I never got a response. So I said, well, I'm just so that I don't feel like I'm dropping off or I'm disappearing, I'll just go ahead and put a new Instagram up. If I can get the old one back up, that's great. I'll let everybody know that I'm going back to that one and I get rid of this one, but at least have something up that I can keep posting. Instagram. And it's not to the fact that I really need it, but I have gotten used to that platform to a point where I've actually enjoyed it, because there's a lot of people on IG that I don't have on Facebook. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of those on IG have no idea that I've disappeared yet. So I can't remember some of their names, on IG either.
Sure.
So I'm having to re-network and having to refine. It's sort of depressing in a way. I don't let those types of things get to me, because it's stupid tech crap, and it's just, what are you going to do?
We are not good with stupid tech crap.
Yeah. It's
No,
just
no.
fun going with what you do, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, I don't
It's a bit of a running joke at this point how bad we are with
sitting there.
technology.
No, we're losing Dayton here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. But I went ahead and just launched it. Just see what a little delay going on.
See, and I'm not a huge fan of Instagram, because gotta do it from the phone. I know there's a workaround. One of my buddies showed me a workaround how to do it on the computer, but it's just like 3 extra steps to do that on the computer to post on Instagram. And that's one of the reasons I stopped using my DeviantArt account, is it makes it so difficult to do an update and do a post and then on like DeviantArt, to get seen, you got to share it to groups. And it's just, for me, Facebook is just so much simpler.
It is. And it spoils you too, because there's a lot of friends of mine from Rebel Scum and Yak Face and stuff like that talk about me getting back on the boards again. And that's where I started, was, posting on boards and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And I love the boards. You got a face, Rebel Scum forums and Yak Face forums have been around. You got the Imperial Shipyards has a great forum, customizing forum and stuff like that. And I miss being on those. And
I kind of miss that too, because we had the SEAL Team 6, JD and I had the SEAL Team 6 board for a long time.
Yep.
I do miss forums sometimes. I mean, I understand why social media took the spotlight from that kind of stuff. Because it's much easier interaction.
Yeah.
But there's something magical about a discussion or keeping a thread open and just adding to it, or seeing a pinned post that people just go back to for years. I mean, even before and after SEAL Team 6, I was always active on Joe Customs.
Yeah.
Well, we started SEAL Team 6 in the first place because first there was Commando Customs, and things were, after a while, it was real comfortable. It was awesome. That's exactly where Brian and I started talking, was Commando Customs. And then after a few years,
it was to go.
Yeah, it was getting kind of rocky. Like the people running Commando Customs weren't always on the same page about everything. And then the Good to Go casting site had opened, and then they had a forum, so we were on there. And then once Commando Customs sort of started falling off a lot. Then we were on Good to Go, and then Good to Go, they had some posting things, and we got kind of irritated by some of the politics that you'd see on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Brian sent me a message one day. He's like, "What if we start our own board?" I'm like, "Okay, let's do that." And so we did, and that forum was active for a good few years. Like when Brian first started, deploying over to Afghanistan and stuff. Yeah, we were real active on there, and then slowly but surely, forums and
they just kind of died off.
Yeah, they just sort of
and I were both on Rebel Scum and Yak Face. I mean, I won a customizing contest on Yak Face, and I won my Darth Vader lightsaber from Yak Face, and the guys from Yak Face sent me a Yak Face action figure when I deployed to Afghanistan. So I mean, I got a lot of fun memories of Yak Face.
I didn't realize that they sent you That's funny.
Yeah, no, they sent me a figure to take with me. I've got it out in my Star Wars display.
Cool.
Well, I have an Instagram. I have one picture up there. There's a picture of my girlfriend and I. That's it. Otherwise, I didn't like it at first. I don't use it a lot, but like there are a few accounts over there for like TV shows and stuff that it's easier to see their posts there than it is on Facebook. Because the algorithm on Facebook, do you interact with something or look at a page or a group every week,
it goes away.
It just disappears. And Brian and I both run into the problem where you look at something on Facebook,
you see it once,
you
and
forget to put a like on it or forget to put a comment on it, and then you go back and you look for it and you can never find it again. So on Instagram, but I started looking and it gives me the alerts and stuff, and I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I still don't use it a lot, but I am finding more customizers and stuff to follow over there. And so now that you're back on there and you've got the new one, I'll get on there because it is a lot easier to just see everybody's customs posts all in one place as kind of a feed.
Yeah.
And like, or like the TV show Cobra Kai. There's a Cobra Kai podcast they post on Instagram. And my girlfriend posts on Instagram, and there's a bunch of different. I haven't started using it, but I have just recently started considering some of my customs that I post on Facebook. Maybe I should try posting them on Instagram. But
yeah, maybe. I like I said, it's the format. I don't like the hashtag. It's too Twitterish for me. But
I'm not even gonna bother with hashtag. I will not even. So
the only thing that I put up is like every time I do a custom, I take one specific landscape portrait or landscape format picture to put in my header on my customizing page, and I have my logo behind the figure. So every time I do a custom, I do a shot like that, and I put that particular picture on Instagram each time.
Yeah. Instagram has always been my secondary. My Sithfire Creations Facebook page has always been my primary. And then after that, I go and I just copy the pictures in the copy and bring it over to Instagram and post it there. I've also noticed that I can actually post it there and then forward it to my personal account as well, because I got a lot of people that follow my personal account that don't follow my art page for some reason. Right. But whatever works for them. So I get that trifecta, of being able to cover all three with just a couple clicks, and
it's really handy.
Yeah, and it worked out well. And
because once my customizing my art page started like getting a decent following, I stopped posting on my personal.
Yeah.
Once it got enough of a life of its own, I'm like, there's no reason for me to post on my personal account. And but it's, I don't have the amount of followers that you do, probably about half of what you do, it's definitely the same few people that reply. So it's like, I have like 3,000 followers, but it's the same.
And it took me many years to realize that, that's awesome. That we get to a certain number like that. I think I got when I got to 10,000 followers on my Sithfire 30 page, that it actually stopped for a while keeping count or something. It just kept saying that I had 10,000. I never even knew I was getting any more until later when Facebook changes the algorithms again. They change every day. Everything changes every day on that thing. And ironically, they run Instagram as well. So it's
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they run both. So it's like, I didn't know whether I should contact Facebook, tell them what was going on with Instagram. But, I'm just happy to share again. I mean, I got a lot of people, a lot of fans of my work that are still inspired by my work. There's a lot of guys, you were talking about Instagram. being an easier place to see all these customizers and stuff, and it's a bit more easier to find them once you follow them on Instagram. And there's a lot of them that I'm inspired by constantly, so I can see their images as I'm sifting through, instead of having to see all the other junk that Facebook shows up on, that.
Yeah, no, I can see how that would work.
Yeah. So, so I'm back on it, and I was going to probably use my real name instead of my Sithfire Creations, Sithfire 30 name, but it's the name that I've been using since, what was it? Golly, 2001, 2000, 1999, somewhere around there. Jeez.
So it's your prequel era net handle. And he froze again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where we haven't had problems with Zoom before.
But yeah. But no, I just decided to keep it that. So
understandable. So where are you at on your Defiant restoration?
My Defiant. Let me hold my camera. Do you see him right up there?
Oh, there it is.
There. I'm missing several guns. The shuttle is complete.
Nice.
The main what do you call it? The main vessel. The main vessel, not the shuttle.
Oh, the booster.
The booster is complete. I actually have a elevator door that's actually original, that has both the tabs on it. It's not broken.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've got one of those. That actually came with the shuttle that I got on McCarty or whatever you call it. And he sent it to me. It was in Seminole, Florida. This guy showed this old. I just decided to get an old junker. I said, I'll clean it up. So he showed me this picture of the booster and the gantry without the wheels or anything like that. It had no shuttle to it, and just, and I looked pretty good. And he shipped it to me in a box that was almost falling apart by the time it got here. It was just the next day, but the box was literally falling apart as the guy brought it up to my door. I said, it's a repro. It's okay. I'm gonna have to fix it anyway, but nothing better be broken that wasn't in that photo. I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, right.
So everything was fine. And when I opened it up, I heard, because I didn't know much about it, I heard that the elevator was the biggest deal. The elevator door was the biggest deal because the tabs are usually broken at least one time.
Huh.
And it wasn't. The tabs are both on, and went, oh shit, I gotta take this thing off carefully, and because I had to take it apart and clean it. It was a mess. It had every life form living in it. I don't know. It wasn't yellowed though. That was so strange. It wasn't in the direct sun that long, so it's just been in someone's basement or whatever.
Yeah, my shuttle's in not too bad condition, but boy, my booster's pretty yellow. I got a buddy of mine that I was in Africa with that restored a vintage Millennium Falcon, and he did the whitening process. I'd like to get him on the show at some point in time to have him talk about how to whiten stuff, because he did like before, during, and after pictures, and it's just amazing. It looks brand new.
Nice.
Well, that process work on vintage Storm Shadows, because man, I've seen pictures of some Storm Shadow figures that they're not yellowed, they're tan. They are flat out desert tan. That plastic is in such awful condition. I mean, I've seen snow job figures that are the same way, because they tend to have the real yellowed torsos and the real yellowed lower arms, and then the shoulders, for whatever reason, aren't so much. But I have seen some people do some restorations on things where they brighten them up. But that Millennium Falcon that Brian referenced, he sent me a link to that, to like, he told me about it, and I went and looked. I'm like,
pictures.
Huh?
I might have sent you the pictures from my buddy.
Oh, maybe that was, because I looked and I'm like, that looks new. Like, I wouldn't have even, like, he said it was vintage. I'm like, it looks like it's new.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend, she surfs a lot of TikTok, and she sent me video of, it was an X-Wing or something. It was a vintage, but it was the same thing. It was real yellow, real crappy looking. And they did like a time-lapsed, it was like a series of like 3 or 4 videos from start where they got this, it looked like garage sale, but X-Wing in garbage condition. And then they documented the process from beginning to end where it looked new again, and this X-Wing was broken pieces, yellowed. It was like 14 different colors, and with the plastic and whatever. And she sent me TikToks where it was like a 4-part series where they time lapsed. They documented the process, and it was amazing to see them. And I almost wonder if the same guy who did that Falcon may have been either the same guy or the same skill level as the guy who did that Falcon. Because
the same skill level, because I think my buddy would have showed it to me if he done it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it is impressive. So, would be interesting to talk to somebody about how they do that.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with him because I'm sure he'd like to be on the show. He's a real cool guy. Has a huge Star Wars collection too. So what are you still missing then for your Defiant, Dayton?
I got the ladder missing, which is, you can find that pretty easy most of the time on eBay. I've seen. Let's see, I got the ladder. I got some side guns that are missing. I think all the side guns on the sides, the red side are missing.
The red ones?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm missing a couple of those myself.
I think I'm missing a periscope chair.
Yeah, I think I'm missing that one too.
I need a new canopy because the canopy I have is kind of not the side canopy. Side canopy is fine, but the front canopy is a bit cloudy. I think it comes with 2 canopies. There is 2 canopies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the front canopy is a little cloudy. I don't like it, and I was thinking about trying to sell that, and then what money I get from it, get a better quality one, because every once in a while those pop up. Let's see, and those top little guns on the top of the gantry on the
yeah, I think mine's missing those too.
The eggshell plastic gantry. Man, that thing is when that part was with the Seminole, Florida shipment, and it came in, I said, I know it's shattered. And when I got it in, I looked at it. Luckily, nothing touched it in the shipment.
Yeah, no, I broke the I think the left door gantry on mine shortly after I got it. I busted a piece off, and it just, I mean, my heart just sank.
You know what I found was there is a little chip on on the part of the blue gantry that I when I was cleaning it, I pushed the little pin from the part right here to remove the gantry door from the bottom part, and I chipped the piece off, which was a good amount of chip. I used some of that plastic welder, brushable welder on it. Worked fine. Just a couple coats of that and just welded it together, and it welded it back together fine.
What, plastic welder? What's this? Explain.
Hold on a second. Let me show you. Hold on a second. Grab it. It's this guy. It's this stuff right here.
Plastic.
It's called Plastistrut Bondi or something. You get it from your hobby shop. I use it on styrene. It's what I use for my alien builds and stuff like that when I build styrene parts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it comes like it's like a little, I'm gonna open it up, but I don't want to get high on this shit.
Oh no, go ahead. It'll make me
it's a little brush, you just brush it on, and it literally dissolves the plastic, especially the surface of the plastic.
Yeah,
dissolves it. And you do it on both parts, and you bring it together, and then it reconstructs itself and welds it together. So,
I absolutely.
It's nice to
must try that.
Yeah.
Right
here, yeah.
Because sometimes you get that little piece on a custom that, for whatever reason, super glue won't hold it. The super glue accelerator won't help.
Yeah.
The plastic just will not bond. But if I can dissolve it and weld it together, I will try that.
This stuff only works on styrene and ABS plastics. So if your plastic isn't made out of ABS,
well,
because most stuff's not made out of styrene when it comes to older stuff from Star Wars and GI Joe and stuff like that, where they use a lot of ABS plastic, and that's why the stuff is so fragile these days.
Yeah,
but it works wonderful with those type of builds. So if you're restoring something like the Defiant or an aircraft carrier or something like that, and something shatters or something breaks now, so it's nice to have it, and it's great for model building too if you're ever building a diorama or something. So
fantastic.
but yeah, I see. Back on track. I think that's all I'm missing though. I think I said that the canopy and all that stuff. So I'm pretty close, to finish that guy up. I don't have the pilot.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Do you have hardtop and payload?
No, I do not have them. I don't have them. I don't have the umbilical cord.
Oh yeah,
that. So, but I'm feeling that is.
I think Dayton's having signal problems.
Yeah,
I think that somebody. I mean, if you're not wanting the vintage, if you're just wanting just something to use, that it's. I think somebody said it's just 10 gauge wire.
Yeah.
That you can get it like a hardware store. It's just like 10 gauge braided wire.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I've actually seen that used with the figure.
Yeah.
On the shuttle.
So I mean, I don't have either pilot either, but and I am not going to, I think the last time I not even looked, because you just can't find those, but the last time I actually saw one, somebody wanted $90 for that one piece.
Yeah.
But that's,
some of those parts are getting more and more expensive.
Oh, I saw the fantail for the flag go for $300 the other day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's about the price of that little elevator door that I was talking about. It's going
really
$300-400 for just one. But now somebody got wise and said, what, I'll just 3D print one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're looking to get the everything original to it, it's going to cost you some money now.
I see that you were thinking about getting a 3D printer.
Yeah. I was thinking about going ahead and investing in one.
I am not nearly advanced.
I have no idea how to use how to do like the digital sculpting for it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Yeah, I mean, sure, I could see an instructional thing that would tell me where to start, but when it came to actually sitting down to, I don't think I'd know what to do with it. I could watch somebody do a demonstration, but I've seen the designs, the way they have to input them into the computer, and I'm like, I don't have the know-how, and I certainly don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
It's an incredible thing. I love seeing the variety of parts and accessories and entire vehicles that people are printing up for their toys, like replacement parts for vehicles or new accessories that didn't exist before. Or
so I've seen a bunch of people making their upscaling accessories from the vintage line for the classified line for GI Joe.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, that's what that Firefly backpack I use for the Fortnite guy. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. But I don't. It's awesome. People have that capability, but even if I had access to a 3D printer, which I do not know anybody who has one, I would not be able to do the 3D print designs. I know people can buy. I know they sell files and stuff, so.
Yeah,
you can input it and you can print your own, but I feel like you have to have a setup and a lot of room and a lot of money just to experiment with, trying to start this process, and also patience.
I think in my circumstance as a designer, it's kind of like a continued education type thing for me. It's got to be something that I need, because I'm seeing more and more resumes of designers, graphic designers, art directors that have 3D design capability and stuff like that. And, it's this sort of something I need to go ahead and get into just for employment purposes, really.
To be competitive.
Yeah. And something I can do minor design work in 3D software, but nothing in terms of making a sculpture yet. I've never really worked at doing something that high speed. Mine was basically designing small models for trade show booths and stuff like that through 3D printing or 3D design, but never printing them out and actually holding them. I saw you were talking about GI Joe upscaling. Some guy, I don't know who he did a upscale devilfish for the classified line. It's amazing.
Really, I've seen somebody did a vamp that I saw that was pretty nice, but I have not seen that devilfish yet.
Yeah, I saw the devilfish last week. It's kind of one of those things. I saw it, looked at it again, Facebook refreshed, couldn't find it again, and I'm like, holy shit, they printed a devilfish. I'm like, damn. But
I can't help but get pissed off when I see it though. I was thinking, gosh, what did you know? You get pissed off. Oh well.
I think Dayton needs to refresh his internet signal.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing there. This is the first time we've had problems with Zoom. So what do you just out of curiosity, what do you think of the classified line there, Dayton?
It's been frustrating up to this point. I mean, it's something I didn't really like it at first, and I'm still kind of not a completist of the line. But so far, I was able to pre-order the double. I was able to pre-order barbecue. I was able to pre-order the vamp on Target.com the other day without having to pull my hair out and curse and stomp up and down and stuff like that, like you usually do if you're on Target.com trying to order something.
Yeah.
I saw Major Blood actually out on the pegs, which I never thought I would see that. There's like 3 of them on the pegs.
Still haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Let's see. And then I was able to get that new Roblox. I don't need that helmet that he has on, but the Roblox looks more like the one they should have done beforehand. But it's a. I wish to goodness they'd put that kind of effort into a 3 3/4 inch line and just keep it that way. But they're going the same way they went with Star Wars.
Yeah, that sure seems to be the
there
seems to be the theme is going to the 6-inch line.
Yeah, they saw what they can do with Star Wars and the Black Series, and it just so happens that when they started that with the Black Series, they had a BC line already established that had a good following, so they were sort of forced to say, oh well, we'll have to appease those guys. For GI Joe, they basically were winding down anything other than store exclusives for 3 3/4 GI Joes. Yeah. So they have nothing. They said, here's GI Joe again. You either take this one or you don't get anything. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Have you been getting any of the retro figures?
No, because I thought when they were talking, I'm like some of the guys there that thought when they were going to do retros, it was going to be either resculpts of these characters strictly for the vintage, or it was going to be old 84 type the 80s sculpts, for these pieces. It was going to be traditionally vintage, kind of like their retro line for Star Wars.
Right.
I thought that's what it was going to be. And then when
I wasn't expecting them to be, but I was hoping that's what they were going to be.
Yeah.
Because my biggest problem, my hang up, and I've said this before, my hang up is less about, they should be O-rings, because honestly, it's entirely possible that even recasting or resculpting, maybe the cost was too high. Maybe they just didn't feel like the audience was there. My biggest problem with it is, I'm sorry, the 25th anniversary era stuff is not old enough to be considered vintage.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 15th anniversary, but yeah, because what 2007? When the 25th line started. So yeah, we're a couple years away, but it's not vintage. It's not retro. at all. It's not retro.
Well, especially when you consider like the Destro is just a repaint of the 50th anniversary Destro that came out
exactly
8 years ago, 4 years ago.
So, yeah. I mean, at the very most, the most retro one they put out is that shit-tastic Duke.
Yes.
And because he is a legitimate 25th anniversary 2007 sculpt.
Wasn't that Cobra Commander as well?
No, that's the Ultimate Cobra Commander they put out in the Retaliation line.
Yeah, okay.
So even he's an updated figure. I'm not. If you're gonna call it retro, they need to be retro. And if you're not gonna, don't. Just don't.
Yeah, just call it G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I saw. Have you seen anything about? Okay, Dayton, I've been meaning to ask. Your name, Sithfire. Who is your favorite Sith Lord? Movie, canon, I don't care. Legends, I don't give a shit.
It's got you to be between Darth Krayt and Darth Bane.
Darth Krayt. That
was from Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, hang on. Legacy
series.
Yeah, because he was the one. He was the one. Asherad Heck, right?
Yeah.
The Tusken Raider, the Jedi turned Tusken Raider, or no, the son of the Jedi turned Tusken Raider, right?
Yep.
Man, the Legacy. Man, I remember that
Darth
comic.
I think Darth Bane was the one that began the
Rule of Two.
Yeah, that's why.
The Bane. The Bane dynasty ended the Sith army idea.
Yeah.
And eventually led to Plagueis, Sidious, Vader. Yeah, well, we saw how well that went. I feel like as much as some of the Sith Lords have a huge following, Revan, Malik, I don't know anything about Knights of the Old Republic. I get they're cool looking. I kind of get it, but I kind of like the older Sith stuff, like from the expanded universe, like Exar Kun.
Yeah.
And Frida Nod and the early Sith stuff. Not so much on the. Although Bane, that trilogy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you haven't read the Darth Bane novel, starting with Path of Destruction, holy shit, why not?
Yeah, I remember reading those. I was on a plane to somewhere and read all three of them on the plane to wherever.
And if you don't want to read them, get the audiobooks, because those are among the few of the older Legends books that already had unabridged versions, so you can listen all 12 hours or whatever it is. Although thankfully they're rectifying that, because some of the other expanded universe stuff is now coming out with some of the more unabridged novels. But I really wish the new canon, I wish they'd do more with the Sith. I really do.
Yeah, it's the real effect on that.
They seem to, they're dancing around it a lot. I mean, they've done a little bit here and there, and they have recanonized some of the Sith mythos that they've established. But a lot of them, the Sith Lords, they've been recanonized, but in name only. They aren't doing anything with them.
Yeah.
And I'm at a weird. I was never a fan who had a problem with them jettisoning most of the expanded universe, because they bought the company and they were starting over. They wanted to make new content, and they didn't want their new content and their new creative endeavors to butt heads with the thousands upon thousands of other works that have been published over the years. And I understand that. And I never really had a problem with expanded universe dying to make room for canon. because a lot of stuff they've said they'd recanonize over the years. A lot of stuff they have, little trivial things, characters that have come back, and ship names, and entire sections of like the ship schematics that they came up with for like West End games and the reference books. A lot of that stuff has been brought back into the canon, but it's the characters that are they're missing, and a lot of nothing wrong with the new characters they're making up. Some of them I find to be phenomenal, but the Sith is they're dancing around it a lot. Like they're just so vague on everything.
Kind of makes me wonder if they've got something planned.
I don't know, because the new publishing endeavor that they're doing, The Light of the Jedi, in the High Republic era, which is a few hundred years before the Phantom Menace, there's no Sith. They're coming up with other threats to the Republic and the Jedi, which is great. Again, I'm all for expand outward, add to the mythos. That's great, but they also seem to be reluctant to go way back past that, because it's just, like I said, High Republic era is only a few hundred years before what we see in Episode 1. But like they have not gone back as far, because Bane is what, 1,000 years before Palpatine, and God, Exar Kun was what, 1,000 years before that, and then never mind when they go into the really old Republic, like, but because they got that, I can't remember what that book is called. When they established that the Force users in the Jedi Order was established like 25,000 years or something before the Battle of Yavin. But the new canon, they're avoiding going too far into the past or too far into the future. It's like the timeline right now, as of right now, cuts off with the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
In my mind, it kind of cuts off at Last Jedi, whatever. It was weird because the sequel era early on, Kylo Ren was not supposed to be a Sith. He was supposed to be a dark side user, but he was not supposed to be a Sith. Pablo Hidalgo at Lucasfilm kept insisting he's not Sith. Snoke is not Sith, not Sith, not Sith.
Yeah.
Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker comes out. Palpatine's been orchestrating the whole thing. He's got that whole Sith Eternal Empire, all those Sith disciples or whatever they were in that temple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so all along they're not Sith, not Sith. Oh, it turns out they're Sith.
Yeah.
Stop making shit up as you go. I'm like,
bothered me about it.
Yeah. As much as I want more Sith content, because I do, that was not the way to go with that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, and if you're going to establish this, look, Sith Eternal Empire is a badass name. Could you, please God, do something with that?
Do something with it. I was just gonna say that.
But no, the novelization of the movie didn't really expand on it much. The novelizations of the whole trilogy didn't really add that much to the Knights of Ren. I love the idea of those guys. I knew they weren't going to have a big part by the time they showed up in Episode 9, but they actually had an even smaller role than I was anticipating, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I really expected them to expand on that.
Well, and I thought even if they don't have a big role in the movie, the ancillary publishing materials, they'll go into it. They'll explain, and they did. They had a comic series, brief, a limited series, that kind of showed how Ben Solo took over the Knights of the what would become the Knights of Ren, but not much. I mean, it wasn't anything that your imagination couldn't have filled in. There was not a lot of depth, and it's bothering me. I really wish they would expand more on this stuff, but they seem reluctant to do it, and I find it disappointing, which is why lately I've been going back and rereading some of the Legends novels, some that I haven't read in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
And some of which I'm going to reread because I really miss the depth that they got to on some of this stuff that was published between trilogies. I mean, all that stuff that was published between the original trilogy and the prequels during the dark period, where they didn't have much, is great. But then once Heir to the Empire came out and they started publishing stuff again, my God, Dark Horse Comics, they went balls to the wall. They went nuts publishing all kinds of new stuff.
Yeah.
And we can't even get some of that stuff reprinted, let alone reintroduced into the canon. And I find it kind of sad.
So, out of curiosity, if we're not following your social media stuff, Dayton, what are you working on right now?
I'm trying to get to a certain finishing point with this space jockey guy. I want to get to a certain point where I can move on to other projects and just shelve them for a little bit. It's if I concentrate solely on this guy, I'll be doing it for another year straight. I mean, it's going to take a long time to complete that sculpt.
And I saw the cutaway view. Is that like a solid chunk of clay in the middle?
Yeah.
Holy crap, that thing must weigh a ton.
It does. It weighs what, 11, 12 pounds right now?
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The reason why I packed it was because stability purposes. It has to be the heaviest part of the piece to support the cannon and to support the other pieces. It has to be the most stable part of the piece to do so.
Okay, do me a favor. Let's pretend that I'm ignorant of all but the barest minimum knowledge about Alien as a franchise, and by pretend I mean I totally am completely ignorant. Except if it's not a xenomorph or one of the colonial marines, I don't know what it is. So I know what Weyland-Yutani is, and I know the planet has that 14 number name to it, but what the hell is a space jockey? I've seen pictures of that creepy thing that you said got you a lot of attention because somebody said it looked like a birthday cake or whatever the hell that was about.
Yeah, boy, that got out of control. I went viral on the wrong reasons, man.
I'm like, that was yeah, well, I looked at that. I'm
my
like,
wife mentioned that. She's like, what is all of this shit?
Yeah, I saw those pictures. I'm like, birthday kid, what the hell? Who started that and why? But
I found myself on Reddit all of a sudden. I've never been on Reddit, and people are saying, look, it's a birthday cake. I'm going, no, it's Jim. It's not a birthday cake.
You were that close to being your work to being a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that point.
Luckily, so far, you were able to avoid, but I tell you what, another day or two of that, and people would be wanting birthday cakes for Christmas, or for birthday cakes and holiday cakes that looked like H.R. Geiger art, and it would have been your fault, even though you wouldn't have gotten the credit for it. And by fault, I mean it's the internet. It's ridiculous. You let the internet vote to name a cruise ship, and they name it Bodie McBoatface. Okay, do not let the internet dictate anything. But so it was almost a birthday cake. We were almost a meme, but it wasn't. But please, what the hell's a space jockey?
Space jockey is, and you guys my signal sometimes drops off intermediately. So if
we've noticed just a bit.
Yeah, it does. Like every 5 minutes, I get a little interruption. I don't know where it comes from, but it will jam up my signal and then it releases it again. So if I jam up, just give me a second and I'll come back on.
Yeah, no worries.
The space jockey is some ancient creature. It only matters from the original film.
Yeah.
1979 film. It really doesn't matter in any other film. They try to make it matter, but they don't know how to explain it. you know.
Is that what that Covenant thing was? I didn't watch it, but I heard many horrible things about it.
Prometheus made him look like a little.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I heard enough bad things that I'm like, I could watch it myself, but no.
Here's what intrigued me about the space jockey. Okay, it's an alien, a group of aliens on a ship that crash landed on the moon because they got hold of this creature that killed the crew. Okay, and this was the last survivor sitting in this chair, and he died by a chest burst. And he's been sitting there fossilized with a signal to tell people to stay away because these creatures are now in this ship.
Oh, okay. So
space jockey is to me, and to most any old school alien fan, that's what the space jockey was a name given to that creature by the production crew. They just came up with a name. They said, let's call it the space jockey.
Okay, so
it
in the movie when
the actual alien,
who's the guy in the movie? Tom Skerritt, is that him? The guy who?
It's one of them.
Yeah. So his ship picks up on the signal. They go to this planet. They go investigate. Even though the signal was saying stay away, they do what humans always do, and let's go take a closer look. Never mind if all the red flags are saying, go back to where you came from. Of course you tell somebody don't push the red button. What's the first thing somebody's gonna do?
Yeah.
You tell somebody not to watch the Star Wars holiday special. What do they do?
Yes, they did that there too. So, all right. So the space jockey, the signal's going out into space. It says, avoid this whole sector. Get out of here. Something awful happened. Instead, the what are they? They're freighter. It's a freighter. They're hauling something, right? They're
the miners. Yeah, they're
okay.
Hauling ore of some kind, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So they go. They find the signal. They go. They land on this planet. They find the eggs with the face hugger, the things in them. But so the space is the thing that's actually sending out the signal. The skeletal, the most Geiger thing ever created.
Yeah.
The most H.R. Geiger thing ever.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you said if you work solely on that and nothing else, it'll still take you a year. Damn, dude. You're detailed though. Your attention to detail, dude, staggers me.
Yeah, it makes my stuff look like a drunken monkey did it.
I mean, and Brian's stuff makes my stuff look like a drunken monkey did it. So, so I'm constantly impressed that you get all these tiny. I'm like, how this man has patience that I'll never understand. But so you're still making progress on Space Jockey, and so now it sounds like you got a long way to go with it. Dude, that's crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got a ton of work to go on it. I've not even gotten. I think that if you want to put in a percentile, it's like 25% closing on 25% complete.
Because you just have most of the creature done. You don't have
That's right. I don't have.
You don't have the chair. I always thought it was like some sort of astrogation device.
Yeah, it's
Oh, so you're making the machinery and everything that goes with it, like the whole. Because wasn't that whole room that it was sitting in, right? That
I'm trying.
Weird. It had really disco, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very Geiger.
So you're gonna. So you're going like totally movie accurate, like I'm guessing you've gone into all the blueprints and all. Like you're going like. All this shit we never even saw on screen, but it was you're doing all that, right?
Surprisingly, there's not a lot of the production images that you see from the making of this sculpture. They did it to scale for the production. There's not a lot of photos and stuff like that you can acquire. You have to really dig pretty deep to find them. And you can look at other sculptors who actually did this piece throughout, last 30, 40 years. And you'll see that, for 30 years anyway, everyone has their own little interpretation of it because there's not a lot of reference material. So you sort of have to sometimes guess. And Giger didn't really draw up all the details. He basically created this on the fly while on set. I mean, he sculpted this thing. Him and his crew sculpted this thing on set, and the only pictures you have are actually during the production. You know, when he airbrushed the whole thing by himself. So it's insane. It's insane. So, and then they tore it down just as fast as they put it up. They tore it down and trashed it, you know, right after the production was over. So, you know, it's just it's a passion work for me. It's something I'd love just to have, you know, to say I completed it. And it's a very intense amount of detail because you're dealing with mainly a dead corpse.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's the fossilized creature in a fossilized type technology. Whatever it was once is now just a husk.
So if you shelve that, what are you hoping to work on next then?
Well, I'm crashing.
Yeah. We'll give it a sec here.
Yep. Okay. My bat.
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's like 5 seconds of some sort of thing that interrupts it. I got tons of different alien creatures I'm still working on. I got the newborn I want to finish. I got the lower legs of that newborn I want to finish. I got a couple of Praetorian aliens that I'm working on. I've got a ton of Star Wars stuff that I've started working on again.
Right on.
Back into, I'm getting back into that smaller scale again. I've been asked repeatedly to get into 6-inch. I just don't want to go down that road. I'm afraid.
I was going to say, don't you have enough to do already?
Yeah.
You really need to get in. No, you know what? No.
Cough,
I feel
cough,
like
cough, Beauty and the Beast. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah. So it is something I just don't want to delve into. You know, I see some of these guys doing 6-inch scaled GI Joe classified type figures that I think are really cool.
I mean, I'm doing some half-ass customs there, and by half-ass I mean they're fun. I'd say they're time consuming, but honestly, they're no more time consuming than anything else I work on, where I just pick away at it here and there. But I have seen some insanely detailed classified figures that people are making, and I'm like, no, I can't accomplish that. But I don't know, the stuff you make is it's already so detailed and intricate. I don't think you need the bigger scale to get that level of detail. Not really.
Plus,
it seems to be extraneous.
I'm trying to stick with things that I know won't really be made.
Well, in that case, you're hitting the nail on the head with that one.
All the Star Wars figures I create are going to be of characters from the expanded universe that I know that Hasbro would never decide to touch because, you know, and ironically, some of the ones that I did early on, they eventually did anyway. You know, the Darth Crate and a lot of those guys, Pete Skywalker, they did him and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, technically they did those later, but you can't get them for less than the price of your soul on eBay.
I know. God, man, that stuff's expensive these days.
And even when Hasbro did those things, like those comic packs, they still only scratched the surface.
Yeah,
I mean, they did a 2-pack with what You Look Cool drama and XR Kun, but they didn't. I don't. What was You Look's brother's name? Kay? I don't think they even did him.
No.
They didn't do Frida Nod. They didn't do Master Votoboss, big dinosaur looking dude. They didn't do any of that. Of course they weren't going to do that. But I feel like the more obscure, the better. And when it comes to aliens, the only toy lines they ever make, their own xenomorphs. Only, the old never see the rest of it. I mean,
I think like right now, NECA, I think is starting to wind down for some reason.
My son loves these Leonard xenomorphs.
Yeah, I saw those at Walmart the other day.
He absolutely adores these things. But then
Remind me of
monsters.
The inner versions, you know.
Yeah, but he's a monsters and horrific creatures of all kinds. He's on a. Yeah. He likes all the Trevor Henderson stuff and the SCPs and stuff. He watches videos of, but he's on a kick with like Godzilla right now and Planet of the Apes and all that. He loves all that kind of stuff. Xenomorphs, and
That's cool.
I knew there was the Queens and I knew there were the Warriors, but until he started watching videos, I didn't realize how many different like drone aliens. I'm like, wow, there's really, I didn't know they came in that many classifications. But I'm like, well, that makes sense. They're like bees, so yeah, I guess they would. Yeah. But
well, it all depends on what creature they just ate into. Ate into.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, because he did. Yeah, he.
Well, because I got that NECA rhino alien.
Oh, that one you did the review of? Yeah.
Crap, that thing is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, they did some. NECA does some good stuff with their alien like.
Well, you said they're winding down though. Like what? They're not making anything new.
Dropped out and.
Oh, he's back. So, did you say NECA's winding down?
Yeah, back. I hope. I think so. I mean, golly, not. I'm hoping they don't.
I mean, I don't know. I don't.
I wish they would go back and finish the rest of the Marines. You know, they're so concentrating on the turtles right now, and I'm turtled out. I mean, I think they're cool. I think that if you're into that stuff and you want to collect that stuff, that's great, man. Golly, you're living in a golden age right now with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. You can get anything you want, but if you can find it. I wish they would go back to some more. They're doing a great job with the Predator right now. They're doing all the Predators again, the Ultimates from the Predator 2 movie. Yeah, they're doing all those guys. I've been collecting those and enjoying them. But
the last good Predator movie I saw was Predator.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the ones since. They're not good.
I saw Predator and Predator 2. I don't think I've seen anything past.
I saw the one with Topher Grace.
Yeah.
And that was honestly I'm just like, this is so, I could see where they're going. They failed, but I could see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is not good. And the less said about the Alien versus Predator movies, the better, I think.
Yeah, that was
I haven't seen either of those.
I saw one of them. That was enough for me. I never need to watch it again, and I never needed to see the sequel. I was dumb enough to go to the theater to see the first one because I thought, oh, this should be fun. It wasn't.
I think the best actor in that Alien versus Predator film was the Queen. That was the only character in that film that actually went every time they went to the Queen and went, oh, cool, the Queen. They don't want to watch her. You know, everything else was crap.
And then didn't it? Yeah, and it pretty much killed everything you saw on the screen, and that was okay too. That was immersive for the audience.
And I've always been curious to watch them, but I keep hearing people say the same thing that you guys are saying, and I'm like, I don't think I want to watch it. I don't want to waste my time.
You won't waste 2 hours of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, for every successful this popular thing versus this popular crossover thing they have, like Freddy versus Jason, huge success, people loved it. Then for every one of those successful you do, Godzilla versus Kong, that type of, then you get 5 or 6 that just blow chunks, like Aliens versus Predator and Aliens versus Predator 2. And I feel like they don't. Look, I like Batman versus Superman. Okay, I like that movie. I'm well aware it's not a good movie, but I like it anyways. Like the Suicide Squad. Shut up, Brian.
I liked the first Suicide Squad movie. What you're talking about. And I liked Batman versus Superman too, because the first, I didn't go see it in the theater because of the shitty reviews that it got. But I
didn't go see it in the theater because I
waited until they released the 3-hour version, and I watched.
Well, yeah, so did I. I didn't see it in the theater because, well, really, I don't. For a long time there, I wasn't really going to see anything that wasn't Star Wars or sometimes Marvel. But I didn't go see it. But I saw when HBO Max came out, I went back and I rewatched it. I'm like, how cool this movie was. And then, but I don't. Yeah, most of those crossovers, not so much. And I have seen rumors of a reboot of Aliens versus Predator. I'm like, really? What? Stop! No, stop!
Yeah.
Stop! Some
I don't
things
know.
don't need to
I
be
still,
rebooted.
I still have. I mean, I don't know. I still think that could be very awesome if they
No,
did.
it could be, but there's just as much of a chance that it won't be. And is it really worth that risk? Because I'm going to say this right now. The Mummy 1999 is a masterpiece of schlock sci-fi, comedy cinema. It's great. It's awesome. It's classic. The second one was none of those things. It wanted to be. It wasn't.
And then they beat that dead horse with the Scorpion King.
Yes. And then they went back to the well again with the Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon, some horse shit. I don't know. Rachel Weisz decided not to even bother. But then they did that reboot, another reboot with Tom Cruise. Look, I love Tom Cruise, but that movie did not look good. And I'm like, what do we need another reboot for? And so
I didn't see that one either.
So really, Aliens versus Predator was so bad. And I'm like, well, okay, so there's a chance if they rebooted it, made a new one, they could make a good one.
Some things are worth the risk. I'm going to say this. Some things are worth the risk, and I'm going to say this is one of those things that's worth the risk of a reboot.
And it might be, and if it is, that would be stellar. But I feel like it would be one of those things that they'd have to do it right, because
I would think that if they do an Alien versus Predator reboot, it would have to be a Alien versus Predator film from start to finish, no humans involved.
Yes.
It would have to be like a jungle hunt. It would have to have no dialogue, human dialogue in it. Literally be the first major film in of this franchise that was just between a Predator clan and an alien.
Can you imagine that? That'd be
insane. It'd be the coolest thing. I think that would be great.
I think you've just pinpointed the reason why Hollywood has decided not to do that, because, well, humans.
Yeah.
We need humans. We don't, but we need humans. No, we don't. Except, yes, we
do. I'm going to say that would work because to my knowledge, the longest part, there's one specific movie that has like the longest part without anybody speaking in that part in that movie is Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And that was a brilliant movie. And it's like 45 minutes or an hour where nobody says anything.
Yeah.
Wilson, that volleyball should have gotten an Oscar. Okay. It didn't. It was snubbed. I feel like I'm actually surprised that nobody has tried to like do a Kickstarter or something to make a Alien versus Predator movie that has no humans and just, high quality costumes and CGI and special effects and such.
But I think that's a brilliant idea, and I think it could be done. And
I'm not often on board with fan films and stuff because a lot of times fan films are, it's interesting, but they don't usually turn out that well. But something like that, true fans, I could see them pulling that off.
Fan films work too much on cliche to me.
Yeah.
They did the Alien films, fan films like 2 years ago, and every one of them had to have something that had to have happened in the original Alien film or an Aliens. It always has to have a cliche in it that harkens back. And I said, no, you don't have to do that.
Whatever happened with the new Neil Blomkamp was supposed to do a sequel to Aliens that was going to forego Alien 3 and 4 or whatever that mama thing was, whatever, that was terrible. But yeah, he was supposed to do a sequel to whatever happened with that.
It was a Neil Blomkamp was working with Sigourney Weaver at the time, and he brought up an idea of doing an Alien 3 film. Let's see, it was Alien 3, but it would negate the whole Alien 3 that we all know of, of Ripley dying at the end and Newt and Hicks being crushed by the crash in that rescue.
Yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah.
In this one, the idea was that they would stay abandoned. They would drift for years, and then be picked up by another ship, and they would be introduced to a whole new company that we presume have taken over Weyland-Yutani and is now keeping hold of aliens, the alien creature, and has now been able to weaponize it. And it shows Hicks, and there's these concept images that are beautiful concept work of Hicks and Newt and Ripley all grown, older.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Michael Biehn was talking about coming back for that, right?
Yeah, they were almost ready to go, and then Ridley said no. And Ridley and 20th Century Fox stopped Blomkamp from going forward.
Why, though? Like, what? I mean, even if it's... okay, I know it's his concept and whatever. I know it's his...
baby.
But he had...
It's really not his concept. It's not his concept at all. It's just that he made a great film launching the franchise, but it was never his concept. It was actually
then what exactly gives him the right to be territorial or protective of it then?
Hollywood.
But
money in Hollywood.
Well, so the Neil Blomkamp thing, was that going to be outside of Hollywood?
No, it was just an idea that Blomkamp said thought would be a good idea. Listen, at that point, you just finished Alien versus Predator Requiem. Okay, it was the franchise was in the tank. So Blomkamp comes out of nowhere and says, "Listen, I got a thing that maybe we can why not try it? What is it going to hurt at this point? We're way off the kilter now. We might as well just keep on falling off if we have to. But let's bring it back."
I was saying it can't get much worse.
Yeah, we can make Alien 3 into a nightmare that Ripley had while in the sleep chamber. It could have played that off as a nightmare scenario in her head. But no, they blocked it because Ridley said, "Well, I'm doing the sequel to Prometheus, and it's going to, Hollywood's going to pay me for that, and we're not going to compete with this through the production company, and so your idea is dead." And
that's weird though. It's like, why can't they coexist? Why couldn't they have both? I mean, it's not like they were covering the same ground.
No, one was a prequel to Alien, the other one was far into the future from.
Yeah, so why stop? Like, why stop it? Like, one wouldn't have had any impact on the other. So I don't understand. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea to me, and maybe that's why that didn't happen.
I think if Blomkamp brought it up right after he finished, what was that movie that he did?
District 9?
District 9. If he came right off of District 9 and said, "I want to do an Alien film," they would have been throwing money at him.
Yeah.
But then he did a few other films after that, like, was it Elysium? Was that how you say it?
Yeah, Elysium.
I never saw that. I wanted to, but never did.
The premise was nice. I've read similar science fiction books kind of in that same vein, but the execution was not very good. I liked District 9, especially having a lot of friends from South Africa. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. And then once he did that, then he did another film that sort of fell off, wasn't all that great, was about AI or something like that. And at that point, I think 20th Century Fox and them were saying, it's a risk to try to get him to do a film. So they lost interest in the director. Yeah. And here comes Ridley Scott saying, "No, I'm doing another Alien film." They said, "Well, we're going to give it to him because, he's Mr. Alien over here. So tough luck, Even with Sigourney Weaver saying she was on board with Blomkamp, she said, "I'd do it."
They're backing the horse that they know is going to win.
Yeah. And that movie, I did not like the second Ridley Scott film for his quote trilogy that he's working on. I don't know if he's ever going to do the third film. So,
like I said, I've heard many mixed things over it.
Now with Disney having it, I don't know what they're going to do with it. So.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
I don't know, because Deadpool 3 is supposed to still be happening despite Disney's ownership of Fox.
Yeah.
Likely not going to be on Disney Plus. But
probably not, because I understand it's still going to be R-rated.
I don't. I mean, like I said, I heard lots of mixed things about Prometheus, and I didn't watch it. But I mean, maybe it's great. Maybe it's lovely. I also heard it's mostly boring. But a lot of these things I heard from far bigger franchises of fans than I am. So I don't know. Like, if I
liked Prometheus. I didn't see the second one, but I liked Prometheus. I didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm outside the system, so I wonder if I would actually be able to get into them or not, or if they're just too.
Prometheus was visually stunning. It was a beautiful film, well made, well produced, well engineered when it comes to it, the artwork and the artistry and everything behind it. There was a lot of enthusiasm behind it. Yes. The writing was a little. It went through too many revisions. Didn't stick with the plot, and it was hyped as being a prequel to Alien, and so. And I'm jammed up again. There we go.
Oh, you're good.
Hold on just a sec. And it was hyped to be a prequel to Alien. So all the trailers coming up to the point was like they're playing Alien music. They were playing the 1979 type feel to it and everything. And you got there and you sat down and you watched it. When you walked out of the theater, it's like, this really, other than that little creature at the very end, has absolutely nothing to do with Alien.
Well, didn't I see something that like they kept pimping it as like a prequel to Alien, and Ridley Scott's like, no, that's not what this is.
He kept saying it, but the hype was overwhelming. It was already too late. He tried his best to, but people, the way that they were advertising it though was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
that's how I remember it, was them saying that, like, them pimping it as like being a prequel, and he's like, this is not a prequel to Alien, this is just a different aspect of that story. It's not going to lead into Alien, it's not meant to lead into Alien, it's just kind of like a cornerstone of the canon, almost, kind of.
And that's why I think at the end of Prometheus, when they showed that little creature bust out, that beacon, they call it the beacon, that was a throw-in. I think that was a throw-in that they made at the last minute to say, okay, here's your alien. You wanted an alien, here it is. They never talked about it again. There's been no expansion on that creature. What happened to it? Where did it go? Nothing. And it's a shame too, because it was a kind of a creepy creature. It had the look of a aquatic type looking alien with human teeth. Man, it was freakish. So
it was
kind of curious to see what would have happened to it, but but Blomkamp's thing is now they're releasing pretty much all of the concept art from it because it's a dead idea. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I hate to see stuff like that. I mean, I'd like to see the concept art, but then you get the concept art in hand, and then you're like, man, this is what could have been.
Yeah.
Especially when you had people like Sigourney Weaver and Michael being ready to sign on for it.
There's an awesome shot of an older Sigourney Weaver with a smart gun attached to her, ready to go, just rock and roll. She has the smart gun attachment and everything. It's great.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, that was going to be part of the film. They said she was all in for it.
So out of all the stuff that's coming out recently, what are you looking forward to getting?
In terms of like collectibles and stuff?
Yeah, just collectible stuff.
Let's see. I am looking forward to seeing what comes up with classified series. I am looking, they do a barbecue. That's kind of a very, what do you call it? Niche type, fandom type character.
I thought I'm not the only one then, because I said, this is an odd choice. I said, it's not a bad choice.
No, it's not.
Don't get me wrong, but it's just an odd choice with all of the more, let's call them iconic characters that G.I. Joe has.
So that made me feel kind of good, because I said, if they're going to do somebody like obscure as barbecue, maybe that's just to show that they're going to do a whole gamut. Maybe we'll see. I want to see an Alpine. I want to see Zuka, and I want to see guys like that. I'm hoping they do a shipwreck in his traditional shipwreck look instead of doing it in the. I can't remember what version of shipwreck it is, where he's wearing more of a gray suit or something like that. I can't remember that.
Like the watch cap and stuff like that. I got my dogs.
Sammy were sleeping.
Yeah, we were. Today's like one of the anniversaries that we had. So JD's girlfriend is actually one of my best friends. So
yeah,
I've known both of them for longer than I've known each other, and today was like the anniversary that she was on our show first, and I was listening to that, and yeah, you can hear Izzy barking throughout the show. She would come down while I was recording it and just bark at me and then run off.
Well, like I said, half the charm of our show is at some point one of Brian's dogs at least usually has a cameo. None of them have popped up in this episode yet.
No, they're all upstairs. It's hot. Everybody's laying down. I'm surprised Alex isn't down here yet.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, because it was Tanya this morning. She posted, 4 years today, and I'm like, interesting, because at the time she was just one of Brian's friends that wanted to have on the show, and well, who could have seen coming that 4 years later she'd be the love of my life.
That's great.
Right? It's awesome. Weird for me. I keep saying it's weird because it's like two of my best friends from completely different separate parts of my life are like dating. It's like
that's really cool.
Don't get me wrong, but it's just weird.
Well, last year when I flew out to Colorado, it's because I needed a change of scenery. I was stagnant. I was stuck. I'm like, I can't. And then there was a convention in Georgia, Joe Fest. We thought early on we'd been talking about going to meet up with that, and then COVID. We're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And then for whatever reason, they did not cancel that show. Kind of shocked, but they didn't. And so I flew out to Colorado, and then she was on the show again since it was a video podcast. We've been talking ever since, but 6 days after we started talking again for the show, because I told her I loved her, and because I'm like, well, there's no question about that. And yeah, it's just weird. 4 years today since she was on. I'm like, that's odd, because I've listened to that episode a few times, and I'm like, my God, I don't know how she stuck with us talking about that G.I. Joe Collectors Club wave of toys for. It felt like I was listening to that conversation, like, wow, that 4-hour conversation we had there. But that was weird because in that episode, the news had just come out that Loretta Miller had been fired off of Solo, a Star Wars story. Ron Howard was still a week or so away from being announced as the replacement director, and they had just publicized that they were gone and that a lot of it had to be reshot. And then today, Tanya and I were talking because we watch movies over Zoom. We do the screen share. We watch movies over. And I said, well, I told her, and we've been watching the Star Wars movies, some of them. We've seen the trilogies, the sagas, but we haven't gone into the spinoffs yet. But she said today, well, what should we watch? And I said, well, to celebrate 4 years since you were on the show, how about if we watch Solo tonight, since that's the movie that was in the news when you were on the show. So we're going to watch it later. So,
cool.
And I noticed I listened to it and I was completely wrong about them doing back blast for a figure subscription service figure.
It's terrible that Backblast was actually one of those Joes like Downtown and Stretcher and Lightfoot that never ended up getting modern versions. The club did not update them. I didn't think Hasbro ever would, but the club, they never got around to them. All the figure subscription services, all the convention different box sets, and even Lightfoot, he was in Night Force in the vintage line. They did a whole update to Night Force, and still never made an update for Lightfoot. Neither the original version nor the
the Hershey's Bar Brown repaint. Yep, he never got and Backblast. Yep, never got an update. It's weird because, well, in that episode they had just announced what
they
waves.
Announced the lineup for 8, but we still didn't know who was going to be in 7.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They were working backwards on that one, and then after 7 and 8, there was only one more, right? That I think it was the 9th, the final lineup. But yeah, there were a bunch of those characters from 88, 89, and 90. No, almost all of 90 got an update, I think, except for Stretcher, Cold Front, and Updraft. And then everybody else did. But then, there's a bunch from 88 and 89 that just got overlooked. Very strange how that happened. And incidentally, I said on that show, they announced Crystal Ball. I want one of those. Yeah, I still don't have one. You know why? I don't want to pay those prices to get a club Crystal Ball because it's fine. It's dandy. It's lazy as all get out. And for a character that nobody likes but me and a few other stray, the figure from the club is awfully expensive for a character nobody wanted. And I won't pay that much for a character that could have been done much, much better.
So Dayton, you were saying who do you want to see in the classified line?
Well, I like to see. I'm hoping since they do a barbecue that they'd probably do like I'm hoping they'll do an Alpine. Alpine's always my favorite. He was always my favorite guy.
Nice.
And then of course, if you're gonna have Alpine, you gotta have Bazooka because they.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You really don't. Please God, anything but that. Literally anything.
Well,
I mean, no, I take that back. If I had a choice, I would pick Bazooka getting a classified figure tomorrow over Tripwire ever getting one.
I still don't understand the hate for Tripwire.
Tripwire is
second Joe, so I
sucks. He sucks so much. Every iteration of him sucks. He sucks in the comic. He sucks in the cartoon. Luckily, he barely had a role in the cartoon because he sucks so bad. He's Tripwire. He's terrible. So okay, sure, I'll take a classified Bazooka.
One of my first shows I bought when I was my mom got me when I was a kid.
Yeah, I had Torpedo, then it was Tripwire, and then Snow Job. Those were my first. Yeah.
I had Tripwire, and I had Tiger Force Tripwire, and later I had the 2001 version of Tripwire. Tripwire sucks. Now there was almost a cool version. He almost got a Star Brigade figure.
I wonder how classifieds would interpret him today if they were to try to say, let's do a Tripwire.
Probably do like the
bomb explosive guy.
You know?
Yeah, that'd probably be good. You know, maybe high explosives expertise type guy.
You know, hang on,
that'd probably work.
Yeah, I think he'd be a cool.
I'm hoping they do
choice to do like an EOD version.
Obviously,
I hope they do a Dreadnought set too.
Obviously, Hasbro isn't going to use a Marvel Legends figure and repaint it for classified, but they could. Today, I saw a picture that somebody had repainted the Marvel Legends Paladin figure in the green and gray of Tripwire, and it worked surprisingly well.
Really?
For a character, an Avengers character that nobody gives a shit about, that was $4 shipped off eBay, along with another figure. It was in a 2-pack. Not in a two, it's just they had bundled some figures together. So, and I was buying the other figure and I got that. But I mean, he makes a surprisingly convincing Tripwire. Yeah, Tripwire still sucks, so they ought not to. But it would be awesome to see Alpine. I would love to see what they would do with a classified version of him.
As much as, you know, like I said, I'm not a fan, but one of the things that I really do like about what they're doing with the 6-inch line and what they have the ability to do with the 6-inch line is accessories.
Yeah, they've done that. Yeah,
I think an Alpine would be fantastic for what they could do for the accessories for that.
Yeah.
All kinds of climbing gear, all kinds of, I mean, just, yeah, I would go crazy doing something like that, because I've made a couple, like, one of my favorite customs to make is the Hot Toys made a 12-inch Navy SEAL called the Polar Mountain Striker, and it's basically just basically Alpine militarized.
Yeah,
and they've got tons of carabiners and all kinds of cool climbing gear and rappelling stuff. I mean, they're really accessory heavy and they're really cool. And that's one of my favorite customs to make is a takeoff of that. I think they could do that in the 6-inch line with Alpine, and it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite club figures was a figure subscription service version of Alpine that was based on the Valor versus Venom figure. So he had the shorts and the hiking boots and the hat and the yellow shirt. I'm like, I can't believe they fucking updated that one. I want one. I bought one. I have it downstairs.
I did not.
Version of Alpine nobody but me and a few other people cared about, but I love that they made it because they had the audacity to make it.
Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah, that's what that is.
I mean, it was bold. It was inspired. It was
inspired's not the word I would use.
Well, okay, maybe that's not the right word. It was
Rich.
Strange. It was random. I'll tell you that.
Random. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I applaud it because wow, what an interesting choice. And I think it was one of those things. It was less about, oh, I really like that figure, and more about, holy shit, I'm buying that just because they did it, just because they made it. I don't think they needed to make it. What they really didn't need to do was do the repaint version later for the Tiger Force set that they did. I'm like, wow, that really, some things just don't need to be Tiger Force sized.
Yeah.
Actually, most things didn't need to be Tiger Force sized.
Never. But, not even in the vintage line. Nothing needed to be Tiger Force sized.
Yeah.
All right. As somebody who really likes the color scheme on Tiger Force Duke and Tiger Force Roadblock, it still looks like they threw up on themselves, but I like the combination of colors. The rest of those, no. Tripwire happened. He just happened to look like Tiger Force poop. It was a coincidence, but it was appropriate. Oh, classic.
So, Dayton, are you still working on your Nostromo mold then? Your Nostromo build then too?
Yeah. I'm still working on them. I just actually moved everything into this metal cabinet back here.
Nostromo, that was the ship that Tom Skerritt had, right?
Yeah.
That was his ship, right? Okay. All right. There we go.
So, out of curiosity, is your goal for those just to be individual Dio pieces, or are you like trying to recreate the entire inside of the ship?
I'm trying to probably create like level A, which is the bridge and the corridors, the galley, the medical area and stuff like that, with all the corridors connecting, and then do a long corridor of the engineering corridor. That I don't want to do anything in more depth than that, because that's crazy enough as it is.
Yeah.
But just do one long engineering corridor, because that's one of the main things that you see at the very beginning of the movie. It's this long corridor of the engineering section. And it's just so much greebly stuff going on and piping and stuff.
Right.
It's just such an impressive piece. I got the framework down already made for this long corridor. I just need to go in and start building each little piece of piping and stuff like that for each section, which will take a while. But it's, I'm looking at this hobby for the long term,
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is like a 5-10 year project here.
A lot of people start doing customized work and they burn themselves out after about a year or two and they jump out of it, the hobby. I'm just looking at something that I can mess around with, every day a little bit, 3 or 4 times a week, and start building and building upon it. And I think that my work it's more worth it to me doing it that way.
You're the only person that I know that can do that, because I know JD, he does not have the patience to I mean, he can barely get a custom done sometimes because he doesn't have the patience to do it. So for the long haul, I think that's really impressive, just in and of itself. And I've tried like ambitious projects, and I think my biggest one is like my 15-figure box set that I made.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was the like Transformers Batman's tumbler that I put together that took like a year to build.
Yeah.
But once I get those done, it's like, oh man, it's just like this weight off your chest, and it's like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
But something like what you're doing is like you've got a project, and it will take you as long as it takes you to get done.
Yeah, it's not like I'm trying to sell it or trying to. I was always thinking I was going to do kits and stuff like that for this stuff, but it got to the point where I was looking at the cost effectiveness of it and what I can actually do and the time I'd actually be able to do it with, and it just wasn't going to really happen in terms of the Nostromo diorama builds and stuff like that. So it's literally just a passion project now. Literally, it's just something I enjoy doing, and
I think those are the ones that turn out the best.
Yeah, it's.
So I have to ask, when you get it done. We're losing you here. Give it a second. All right. Try again.
Yep. All right. Yeah. I know too many customizers, that jump into the game, that want to make some money, that go into doing a lot of sculpts and head sculpts and all this other stuff, and they start getting commissions and they get overwhelmed with commissions. They're really enthusiastic about making figures and making this, making that, and they go on for about a year, and all of a sudden they're gone. They just burn out because they make it into something that they have to. It becomes a job and not something.
I was just going to say that.
I was
just going to say, once it's a job, it's not fun anymore.
No, and you have to deal with people, you have to deal with deadlines and stuff like that. I work 8 hours a day with that. I don't want this to be an 8-hour day job either. I want this to be what I run away from, where I run to get away from that.
Right.
So, if people don't like the fact that my updates are slow or my updates aren't as frequent as they used to be a long time ago when I had aspirations. There was a time when I thought to myself, wow, I'm just going to start doing this, and all of a sudden I'm going to start doing commission work. I did commission work for about 2 weeks and I hated it. I said, no, I can't do this. I'll honor anyone that I already said I'll do work for, and then after that I'm out. Because
honestly, that's why I started my YouTube channel. It's like I get asked to do commissions all the time, and I haven't had the time to do it just because I've been overseas for pretty much the last 12 years. And like, if you want, and people don't, it's like you were saying, people just don't have the patience for that. It's like somebody requests something the week before I deploy, and it's like, it's 2 months before I get home. And then it's however long it takes me to get the parts after I get home and do the custom and then get it to you. You're looking at 3 or 4 months, and everybody has that Amazon fever of wanting it tomorrow.
Yeah. And 3D printing has really caused it to become something that's want to be that instant gratification type thing too. They'll say, well, I like a sculpt of this. I like your space jockey. How do you 3D print that? I'm going, that's not 3D print, dude. That's hand sculpting right there, man.
Yeah.
I can't be hand sculpting. That's like, yeah, people do sculpt with their hands still, dude.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's not something that I can print out instantaneously. And then they say, well, why are you getting a 3D printer if you're a sculptor like that? I said, well, it's because it's a nice accessory to have.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I want to print out a couple of pieces that I don't want to sit there and spend the time in clay, like a handgun or something like that for an accessory or whatever that doesn't need a lot of creative fooling around with, and stuff like that. But it's like, it's stuff that I want to do, my passion of it, and I just don't want to make it into a job.
I hear that completely.
I don't blame you.
I plan on displaying that when it's finished.
I don't blame you. I've done.
Jeez, I don't know, man. I had about a year ago before COVID, there was a display up in Washington that they invited me to send up some of my work up there. So I sent a couple of parts to the Nostromo's bridge up there along with some of the figures, and they were able to display it really nice. But it was in sections. It wasn't all put together.
Right.
And I never thought about doing it in sections, but the sections look really interesting just by itself. So that's an idea. I can do like sections of the bridge or sections of the corridor or something like that. But initially, though, I'd love to get like a bunch of tables together at like a Monster Palooza or something like that, and do a complete setup of like level A of the Nostromo, and have the bridge connected to everything else, and just have something like that displayed one day. When I'm 65, and bring my dog with me, just sit there and let everybody look at it, But it's like I said, it's something that's long term, and it's something I didn't want to get away from me either. I didn't want to get so just doing it and not having a plan behind it. It's you can get involved in such projects that all of a sudden you find yourself burning out on it. And I came close to it a couple times. In fact, I've been struggling on and off during the COVID season. I don't think it has anything to do with the virus itself, but it's like, it's been a little more tough because you're worrying about your family, you're worried about other things, it's tougher. I'm jamming up. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll get you here in a second.
Yeah, so yep, I'm back, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. Good.
All right, so it was making it more difficult to stay inspired, during this past year. But I'm getting back into it now, and I'm having a fun time with it. And my goal right now is to get the space jockey guy up to a certain point, and then get back to my figures again, and get back to some Star Wars, and get back into like a mode, like get in the zone type thing.
Yeah.
And that'll be great, because I look forward to it all the time. I see other people's work. I see your work that you post and stuff. I go crazy about it, because I said, boy, man, I can't wait to get back into really getting back into it, like a daily update or every other day update and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had like the completely opposite effect. I mean, because I was home for 3 months. I haven't been home for 3 months in a row in 12 years.
Wow.
And so I got 52 figures done last year.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, I have never.
You're lucky if I got like 3.
His airbrush helped a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Even me, my customs, when I do them, if I'm in the mood, if I'm in a creative mood, I'll work on them for a while. And if I'm not, I won't. It comes and goes. I go through weeks where I don't work on nothing. And then like last week, I was working on some stuff, and I'm making some classified style customs right now, just until this phase is over, and then I'll go and I'll buy them, but then I won't make them. It just depends on whatever my creativity is fueling right at the moment. But I found last year to be inconsistent too. And yeah, it wasn't virus related. It was just a matter of some days it was like, the world's a weird place, and I don't need to paint today. I mean, it did help when I went out to Brian's. We did some painting and stuff while we were out there, and that actually got me back into the modern Joes for a little bit. And then because I didn't see myself getting back into those, then I did. Because I was working on a set of the Eco Warriors, and the Joe Eco Warriors it's not so much the gimmick, I don't care, but I have a thing for the characters, the obscurity of them, and frankly, the comedy value in the fact that I have, I don't know, tattoos of the Eco Warriors on my arm. So I thought, well, I want to do customs of them finally, but I could never seem to get around to them in the Real American Hero line. Yeah, sure, there were a bunch that I could have bought, but those prices were going up. And the modern stuff, I have the Eco Warriors from the box set that the club did, the zombie set. which is good because I never would have tried to do a modern if I didn't already have those figures, because no way in hell I'm going to pay an arm and leg to get them now. But I already had them, so I went modern with those. But yeah, I don't know. Everything that I make, it's got to strike my fancy right at that very moment. Earlier this year, I went through a brief period of, I made a couple of vintage style Star Wars figures, like 5 POA characters that from the expanded universe that I'd wanted figures of for a long time. But that didn't last long. I got burnt out on those fast. Well, of course, there was a Wookiee that I made that took a shitload of time, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that was it. That was all my creative energy on that guy. And another character, a couple of repaints that I did, but after that, I was just like, nah, I can't stick with these.
Yeah.
Creative energy is a fickle foe, or compatriot at times.
I will completely agree with that. I mean, like I said, I hadn't been home for 3 months in a row for 12 years. And I had all this stuff that I wanted to do and had all these ideas for these, these female troopers that I've been, specialty Vipers that I've always wanted to make and never had the time to make. And it's just like, here it is. I can't leave the house. I can't go back to work. Here's the time. Here's the stuff. Let's do it. And yeah, I made a shit ton of figures last year. It was my best year ever. And I started getting better at making cards, and I started making double-sided cards, which was something that I didn't think I'd ever be able to do.
Yeah.
Brian, besides glow in the dark Zartan, have you ever made any of the Dreadnoks? Just curious. Question just occurred to me.
Not any of the traditional ones, I don't think.
As opposed to untraditional ones? What does that mean?
No, as opposed to like my own ideas.
Okay.
I think when I was still on Joe Customs, I think I might have had like original ones, but I don't recall. I'd have to go look at my Joe Customs page.
Well, because Dayton, you mentioned them in the classified line.
No, that was
Huh?
That was me.
Yeah, I know. I said Dayton mentioned that classified Dreadnoks. I'm like, you know what? The other day, I saw pictures from eBay of a Xandar and Zorana somebody made I'm like, holy God. Like, the detail that they put on these 6-inch figures, I'm like, these are phenomenal.
I have done Xandar and Zorana customs.
Have you?
I have. I tried to make 2 customs that would go with the Pursuit of Cobra Zartan.
Why do I have no memory of those?
Because they weren't. Well, the Zorana one came out okay, but the Xandar one was very underwhelming.
Oh, so you weren't particularly enthralled with them, anyways. I like Xandar and Zorana simply because I like the pair of the twins, the unnecessary but interesting additions to Zartan's character. But I know people want classified versions of Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper, and I'm just like, no, I don't need them. I do want a classified version of Thrasher, but that's because he's my favorite Dreadnok, and I don't know why, but I can't just wish for the top tier characters. Nope, my brain always has to go to some kind of weird, obscure character. Forget about the 3 main Dreadnoks. Nope, give me Thrasher. It makes no sense. They never will. I'll take Thrasher. And you know what? Forget Monkey Wrench. He was nothing but a pale ripoff of the first 3, but whatever. I
like to see him make those guys. I like to see the whole set of Dreadnoks, man. That'd be great.
Oh no, it'd be fine if they did. I just particularly want to see what they would do with Thrasher, even though, I don't think they would. I have seen some customs that somebody did a Road Pig, and I'm like, whoa, cool. But I don't think they'll make him. But Barbecue tells me differently. So
yeah.
I don't think anything's off the table. Once when I saw barbecue, I'm like, nothing is off the table.
Whatever, as long as they make Serpentor, damn it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not expecting it. I'm just hoping for it.
I'm hoping for a bat. I'm hoping they'll make the.
Oh yeah, I will be.
You're talking about
surprised if they do not make a bat. I mean, that is
accessory heaven right there. They can go crazy with the accessories on that guy.
Man, there's a figure that I'll leave on the shelf for everybody else to get.
Right.
I always like the idea of the bats more than the actual toys. But I really want to see them do. If they make bats, I'd like to see what they would do with Overkill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, guys. Cool. Hang on. Right, but hey, Brian, actually, can you pause it for a minute? My dad just popped over for.
Actually, we're at 2 hours. Why don't we wrap it up?
All right. Hey, Dad, hang on.
All right. So, as always, we try and wrap it up at about 2 hours because after that, nobody pays attention anymore.
Yeah. Well,
true.
This is a great conversation, though. This is
absolutely. I mean, I could do.
Oh yeah, we could keep going, but they won't keep listening.
Yeah. So, as always, Dayton, thank you for joining us. We will happily have you back on the show again at any time.
Awesome.
Yeah. You if you get ready to show your work somewhere, you're going to be at a convention, you're going to send something off to somebody, and you want to pimp it, you let me know. We'll get you back on the show. Emily wanted to let you know that now that COVID's done, that you are welcome to come out and visit sometime if you'd like.
I'd like to. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, bring your camera.
Get that place down there. Yeah.
And we will make sure that you have enough dogs to keep you happy, so you won't miss your bud. So yeah, you're definitely welcome to come out and visit sometime.
Great. Yeah.
Let me get a regular job. I'm still kind of working on that, but once I get a regular schedule, I'll get in touch with you and we'll have you out for a visit. And as always, thank you for watching, everybody, and please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Look in the show notes. I will be putting links to all of Dayton's social media stuff. You mentioned that he's got a new Instagram. I'll have a link for that. I'll have a link for his Facebook page. And then Dayton, just PM me any other links that you want to go in the show notes, and I'll make sure that they get in there.
Thanks, man.
And as always, thank you for watching.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, Dayton, we'd like to definitely have you back on at some point. That was fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right.